We are live back around the herd.
Mm,
It's been a little while. It's
been
been a little while, but we've been out.
should have left you
We've
without a
been
toe peep to step to. All right, my bad.
we've been venturing into the unknown, trying to make some things happen. And I would say we did make a few things happen.
just a couple things.
Just a few things. Just a few things. But before we get into the the news, my brothers, how are each of you doing? How's your week going?
Alex, you want to start, good brother?
Me like center myself. Uh, my week has been going well, as you guys know. It's 1 week out from graduation, so I'm doing the last little wrap ups. Last few meetings. Uh, well, for me, it's not really getting ready for a break, but getting ready to study for the bar. So that's been a thing as well. But I feel good about it. I feel like I've taken a little bit of a break. You'll hear about some of our break coming up,
Mhm.
and I'm ready to get to it.
Nice, man. Been working already, ready to get back to work. I love it.
Sure. How about you, B?
I love it. My days. This week is, we back to it. It's still all learning. Learning and growing every day. Sometimes you think you're on the top of the world. Some days you feel at the bottom of the boat. But hey, we're living, we're thriving. So I'm all good. I'm all good, man.
Yes, sir.
Like,
So let's just get into it. Let's just get right into it. Let's get right into it because
I ain't playing with y'all. We here.
we're not playing. We ain't been playing. Never we're playing.
Uh,
Never we're playing at Bison Venture Partners. So there was this opportunity that popped up to apply to a pitch competition,
mhm.
and we as a team have actually applied to pitch competitions in the past, but did not advance to be able to present our business. This particular opportunity was presented by an organization called Pronghorn. Pronghorn is an organization that exists to get more Black people not only in the spirits industry, but more Black people having ownership in spirits. So they launched an initiative called the Spirited Innovation Lab, where they were challenging HBCU students and alumni to come up with innovative new products and solutions to add value, through spirits. So it could be a technological innovation, a beverage, a unique marketing strategy. It could be a lot of different things. And um, we decided to apply to the competition and really leverage something we already have, which is our specialty grade premium coffee. And I'll let y'all take it from here to add a little more context. But saw the opportunity. I remember I sent y'all the link. It was like, hey, got this idea. I think we could shoot our shot.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to hear from your perspective what transpired next.
Uh, what transpired next is Gary was like, "Hey, uh, I'm just gonna submit this idea. We don't necessarily know. It might be a nice little mixed cocktail drink, and just submit it, see what happens. Right? Not thinking too much of it. Hey, brother, we'll take a look at the pitch deck. We would love to, sir. If there's anything that ever felt like a last second shot, that might have been it. But it was definitely one of them. And I'll save it for Alex to allow his feedback on your thoughts, what it felt like.
I guess picking up from there. So you sent out the pitch deck. The pitch deck was already very, very tastefully, very masterfully done. You had us look over it. We had a little bit of input. We had a few tweaks. We added our own ideas. We added some numbers. We got into our expertise, and I think that really calls back to our status as a team. We had our first outward showing of our abilities as separate entities coming together. So, we advanced to the second round and we got flown out to Miami. Right, Miami is one of my favorite cities. For those who are wondering,
Mhm.
for multiple reasons. And we landed Thursday evening. We caught up, and then it was time to get to work. So, Gary, I'll let you go from here.
Mhm.
For sure. I love that you threw out that Miami's your favorite destination. Just in case anybody else wants to fly you out, right?
Yeah, of
Just
course.
in case.
It's one of them. I could upload the list for
Oh,
every.
for sure, for sure. Go ahead and drop the
He
There's
said
list.
a
these
few
are the
others.
places
Yeah.
Let them know.
we don't mind catching a flight to.
Yeah. But no, it was a dope experience because um, so the idea actually goes back just a little bit further. I have this picture I took of the mirror in my bathroom, and this concept actually just like I don't know, just came to me, and I wrote on a marker on my bathroom mirror, and it was just there. It's just been there for like the last month or so. So then this application opened up, and it was like, oh, like here's a real way to actually move that idea forward. But yeah, so we advanced to the finals. There were 6 teams that advanced.
Mhm.
All were HBCU affiliated, so you had to have a team of at least 2 people, and
Mhm.
you had to at least have one person who was HBCU affiliated.
Mhm.
So we have no clue who we're competing against. We have no idea, like, what their backgrounds are, what they're bringing to the table, what their innovation is. Is literally like, listen, you got to believe in what are bringing to the table.
Mhm.
And just what was cool was like all of us who advanced to the finals automatically were guaranteed to get $10,000.
Mhm.
So it was like immediately, like we're all winners, right? Just for advancing, 10K. That's a big deal. Then I found out, all right, we're flying out to Miami. We are going to present to Pronghorn executives and other leaders in the spirits industry. So it's like, this is Shark Tank. Like,
Yeah.
this is the real deal. Like, this, you are in front of the people who can help you turn this idea into a reality.
Mhm.
And the grand prize, my understanding was the grand prize was 25K,
Yeah. Like
right?
total.
Total. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought the grand prize was 25K. Already, I'm like, we already got 10K in the bag. That's amazing, right? If we can win 25K, that's awesome. Come to find out, no. If you advanced, you're all getting 10K, and then whoever wins the grand prize gets an additional 25K.
Yeah.
It's like, man, grand prize is $35,000.
Yeah.
All right, this is great. This is great. Um, there were a lot of like, it was kind of stressful flying out there because like I was just flying the week before. I had attended this global coffee expo, just networking with farmers and importers, exporters, manufacturers, cafe owners,
Yeah.
baristas, like literally everybody in the coffee industry was in Portland, Oregon for this expo.
Which turned out to be a game changer, though.
It absolutely was. It
Oh
absolutely
my
was. And I was there. Look, I was there as like,
God.
I don't want to call myself an idiot, but I'm there like not knowing much about the industry, right? Like I'm there to learn,
Yeah.
but literally they're asking all the dumb questions, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
what is this? Like, how does importing and exporting work? I just thought you
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Like, not understanding that. I shouldn't say not understanding, but like our coffee business that isn't something that started because like we grew up on a coffee farm and have relationships and all this stuff. It was like launched a Shopify store,
Mhm.
started playing around with it to figure out how to help other entrepreneurs use it,
Mhm.
and discovered a way to sell coffee, our own brand of coffee, and it sort of just snowballed from there. So I'm there learning from all these people, and it was great all around the world. And yeah, so our concept was a cold brew coffee and whiskey cocktail. So ready to drink cocktail that combines coffee, and whiskey. Now, something that I've learned is really important both with coffee and with spirits is the power of storytelling, right? And it's like we're in this competition to innovate, um, and each of these products have historically um, been used in different innovative ways and are also deeply rooted in Black culture, right? African American culture specifically. So it's like combining the two, right? That's where innovation comes. You take two things that maybe are not always associated together, and you combine them in a unique way.
Mhm.
So that's where this concept came, and we had to get really creative in how we told that story and how we pitched this larger vision of it's not just a cocktail, it is literally an homage to our history and an investment in our future. So we all landed at different times. We're all coming from different places. I'm coming from Philly. Alex is coming from DC. B's coming from Dallas.
Yeah,
We all got to get to Miami. We were given a list of our practice time slot to practice on Thursday.
yeah,
And just with how flights were going, it was like, we are not going to be, we're not even all going to be in Miami for our practice slot.
yeah. And bus showed up 2 hours late. Not 2 hours, 1 hour late.
Yeah, just different, different just logistical,
Yeah,
you know, I would say just things that were sort of bound to happen due to weather and just travel changes and things like that. So anyway, the stressful part came where we had to turn in the final version of our pitch deck
hmm,
to be uploaded to the final presentation for the next day. And thank God we were given an extension
yeah,
because it was going to be due before, I think, before y'all even, definitely before y'all even got to the hotel,
yeah,
quite possibly before you even really landed.
yeah,
But we got that extension. We were able to review the deck together in like the 10 minutes before it was due, submitted it, and then it was practice time. We in there practicing in the hotel,
yeah,
um, practicing first thing in the morning,
yeah,
and getting a sense for just like the magnitude of the opportunity. Like at first, it was like we didn't really know.
yeah,
It's like, okay, like who exactly is going to be here? Like we don't really know. And it wasn't until we got to the venue when it was like, oh, like everybody's here.
yeah. I remember
Like
that
this,
time though.
yeah,
We were like, so with this being a business, like who all's showing up, who's gonna judge the thing? Because like I think going into it, we think that people from Pronghorn would be at least somebody from Pronghorn would be on the judge, like within those judges, right? So it's like we're
mhm,
trying to play and understand like, hey, what part of our story do we need to tell that kind of relates to the judge that may be there, right? Like how do we drop either a line or two here just from the research that we've done, and I think we were thinking like, hey, possibly and I want to make sure we get this right. Either it's Jerome or Jerome. Yeah, it's Jerome, right? Okay. Like, is he going to be there? Is it going to be, maybe one of their portfolio people that are going to be doing it? So just trying to understand, and also making sure we put that in the on the slide too to try to connect before we even did it. So that was another part of just trying to understand, like, hey, all these little details that we can add into our story. Like, how do we best explain it that way, and how do we go about even deciding who who we're pitching to? You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Jamari,
Jamar,
Jamari,
Jamar.
uh, Pinkard, Pinkard from Pronghorn now, CEO of Pronghorn, but
Thank you.
also, yeah, the co-founder of Hella Cocktails.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, when you're pitching, right? Like you want to know your audience. Um, so of course, like we know we're pitching to experts in the spirits industry, but knowing who the judges are going to be, that gives you another like upper hand to incorporating that into your pitch, to truly like speak to them. But we had no idea. We had no idea who the judges were going to be. So the curveball came when the judges are announced and all, and none of them were on the Pronghorn team.
We're like, oh, okay. Well, This is different.
Yeah, I was like, man, well, thought we would at least get one, but
Yeah.
no one was on the Pronghorn team, and I think that was smart because nobody could have prepared for that. But these were all individuals who have expertise in spirits. Definitely people who are movers and shakers in their own right and who know their stuff. So what do we have? It was like marketing expertise, legal expertise,
Hmm.
um, I don't know, partnership
Yep.
expertise, distribution. It was
Um,
kind of all covered.
yeah.
Um,
It was Ryan, John, Mahogany, and I believe the last one. Yeah, Crystal. There you go.
yeah, so it was like
Great people.
maybe two people from, was it Bacardi or just one
Uh,
from Bacardi?
one was from Patron. I think the other two. I want to say Patron, Ciroc, and then two other maybe from like Hennessy or something. Possibly.
Yeah, vast experience in spirits. So it was like, you better look. They told us, they told us in the beginning.
Yeah.
they were like, we're looking for people who are one like passionate,
Mhm.
but then knowledgeable. Like you better have done your research
Yeah.
about this product that you're looking to bring to the market.
Yeah.
Um, like it needs to make sense. Like they are going to be looking for numbers and we had even just in the application, right? Like we had to include like 3 or 5 years of financial projections.
Mm.
So in the pitch, they wanted like the backup to that. And, don't just give me the verbal pitch in your 5 minutes, but then when it comes Q&A time, like you better have the unscripted answer,
Yeah.
ready to support your claims.
Yeah. No, I think that was the another part of it too, was just like I think as we were running through it, because we all had this like grand scheme in our head, but then also understanding how short 5 minutes is,
Mhm.
especially for 10 slides, like, oh, we just gotta be just literally running through this thing. So if anybody's familiar, it's just 30 seconds a slide. And how do you, condense a whole slide worth of information into just 30 seconds, which is literally only maybe like three or four sentences. So
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. 5 minutes is not a long time. Um, I don't know. How did y'all feel about that? Like before and after, right? Because before we talked about having 5 minutes,
yeah.
do you feel like it went as fast as you thought it would, or did it surprise you?
Hmm. I think for me, and this might be like my my legal side jumping out with us having to do oral arguments, which I always hated. I knew how long 5 minutes was, and I was like, all right, when you told me 5 minutes, knowing that obviously this is not an oral argument, but rather, a pitch, something where we're trying to sell ourselves, we're trying to tell a story, we're trying to give numbers, projections, give our future hopes and dreams for the brand, that 5 minutes was going to be nothing. Um, I think that in practicing, we were able to really kind of whittle down the basic ideas of all those points and really like fit them into the space in a way that really supported the brand and our brand image and so on.
For sure.
Yeah. I think highlighting how short 5 minutes can be was definitely highlighted to Alex's point during practice. In case I don't know if this is our secret sauce or anything, but one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we knew how to do is that if whatever happened, each one of us could essentially run through the whole pitch deck ourselves. Right. So that's what we did during practice, was just like, hey, here are the slides, you go for it. Here's the slides, you go for it. Here are the slides, you go for it. And Gary went through it first and like just thoroughly explained each slide, right? Like not putting a whole lot of juice to it, but just like, hey, like this is what we want to get it. And it was a good pitch, but it was also like, hey, now we're at 8 minutes. I was like, oh, like, yeah, now we just like, hey, here's this, here's this, here's this. All right, next slide. Here's this, here's this, here's this, next slide. So
Yeah. Yeah. 5 minutes is fast. So it's like, it's really the high level points, high energy, showing that we're passionate about what we're talking about. Um, you know, I'm hoping that the pitch was recorded and we can actually upload it and share it with everybody. But again, it goes back to story. Like any brand, whether it's alcohol related or not,
Mm.
like the why people buy is because the story behind it. And we just told this unique story about, listen, you got two historically black contributions to the world: coffee, which originates in Ethiopia, and then whiskey, which just as of the past few years, we've started to learn about figures like Uncle Nearest Green, who taught Jack Daniels how to distill whiskey, right? And the fact that slaves were really the ones making a lot of the premium whiskey brands that a lot of people enjoy today, but they never got the benefits financially, or even just like historical recognition that they contributed that to not only American society but global society. So we're like, hey, we can combine these two things, create this really powerful story that not only makes people aware of what has happened in the past, but gives them a sense of pride in both of these products, whether they enjoy our product or somebody else's, right? It's like the next time you go to drink a cup of coffee or the next time you have a glass of whiskey, like you're remembering these things, and it just creates a truly different experience. So it was cool. It was cool. And it was like, yeah, you got to tell that whole story, not only in 5 minutes, but then also talk about how this product is going to make money
Yeah.
and how you're going to get it out to people. How are you going to distribute it? And why are you all the right people to bring this to market?
Yeah.
So time definitely flew, but I enjoyed how we um, each of us had a different slide to cover, right? Um, and then when it came time for the Q&A, that's when it was like, listen, each of us individually needs to be an expert in different spaces so that any of us can jump in and be like, okay, I got that question, right? So how did y'all feel like after the pitch when it was Q&A time? Like what was going through your mind?
Well, for me, I thought that the questions were fair. That's one thing, because I always, in any situation like this, I'm always worried about the crazy question, right? The question of like, all right, so tell me, give me a quantum physics equation for how this is going to work. One of those kind of questions.
Mm,
So to the judges' credit, all of the questions were fair. And what I was thinking about after the presentation was just kind of how, like, we've done this already. We just regurgitating what we had practiced the night before and that morning of. And now it was really just understanding that there may be some questions, there may be some, I wouldn't call it holes per se, but some points that are a little bit unclear. And I think when the questions were asked, I was like, oh, I probably could have like foreseen those questions. Like those are, things that we had to kind of gloss over in the presentation. So I think all in all, it was a good experience. It was a fair experience.
Yeah.
sure.
I Well, to add to that, the questions were fair, and one of the things that caught me was just with 5 minutes and knowing that you just have to hit the main points. I think it can get really easy, or yeah, I think it's really easy for people just to like, hey, let me key in on just those, like just getting the pitch down. We don't have a lot of time to explain. Let me just make sure like I'm really good at saying my lines for the screen, and maybe not necessarily going as in depth into the knowledge of like behind just saying their lines, right? And one of the things that caught me that I remember as I was preparing for it, like, okay, we have numbers here. If you can be as specific as possible, we're trying to get like where did these numbers come from? Do that. Right. So we had to give like financial projections, and and I remember Gary saying like, hey, sometimes with these like pitch competitions, people are just like throwing numbers on the wall and hope they stick. Right. And I was just like, all right, that's fair. But like, if we can make these like legitimate, like actual numbers, how would we do it? And so I remember just taking at least like 20 or 30 minutes trying to figure out like, okay, how would it be possible for us to break these numbers down in my head? And I was just like, okay, 1 bottle to 3 bottles, get 1 to 3 bottles a month, boom, boom, boom. This will make our 150 in a year. And sure enough, one of the last questions we got was like, yeah, so like where did these projection numbers come from? I was like, oh, hey, right.
Yeah,
Like
you
this
better
is
believe it.
yeah, sure enough, like that, it came right down the pipeline. So just if there's any other founders watching this, just try to be as specific with your numbers as possible. If you can go deeper and more clear, definitely do that.
I think to that point too, that specific question
Mhm.
was a good point for like our synergy because you came through with like the sales idea, like, all right, we can sell 3 bottles to X amount of people, whatever. And then me with my stats background, I was like, well, who are we selling it to? And in part of our research that we really didn't get to speak about during our presentation, we looked at I believe it's the 10 wealthiest Black communities in
Mhm.
the country. And what was it? Maybe like half of them were in Maryland. Maybe three or
Mhm.
four of them were in Maryland.
Yep, three in
And
Maryland, three in California. The other three were in Maryland, California, New York. Were the other three.
right. So in preparing our presentation, obviously that was a thought that we had, but had it been maybe a 10-minute presentation or maybe even a 7 or 8 minute presentation, that would have been an excellent point to have to just throw in like, we are making a product around Black people for Black people, and we're going to sell it to Black people. And just expanding on that idea with, your sales pitch and then my statistics that I had.
Yep.
For sure.
Yes, indeed.
Now, um, competition was steep.
Yeah.
I remember I was sweating a little bit.
Yeah, it
I was
was
sweating a little bit.
hey, when they say never judge a book by its cover, boy, never judge a book by its cover.
You don't gotta say
First
who you were
present,
judging. You don't gotta.
hey, bruh, first presentation up there, you like, oh, hey, yo, we need to bring it, yeah. Like,
Nah,
hold on.
everybody. Yeah, everybody came to win for
Uh,
sure.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the beautiful thing was like you just see how like creativity is really everywhere. Like we
Mm-hmm.
are all so talented,
Mm-hmm.
and all it takes is just an opportunity like this to be able to shine. Just to be able to get out there. Because I've never seen anything like this. Like a pitch competition to like literally where you can just have an idea, right? Like they weren't looking for traction. They weren't looking for are you already in the market in the application. It was like, hey, come up with something brand new,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna put you in front of the people who are in this industry, so they may be able to help you actually make it happen. So you had like all these amazing like new concepts, which are all feasible. Like all of them can happen still, right? So it's like, and all of them. Um, I think a few of them like legit will happen within the next year. Like
Yeah,
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't.
yeah,
But I just remember like all each of the what five other presenting teams, like each having something that they did better than we did. Right? It was like branding on one of them. It's like financials on another. Probably a few of them had better financials than we had.
yeah,
Um, and then just like again, story and impact, and then the last point just being innovation. Like I remember like the other team from Howard that had the Ramune soda bottles,
oh yeah,
and they were
yeah,
doing something
yeah,
unique with those. Like I was like, that is dope. Like that's innovation for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, I just remember being like, man, like I mean, we got 10K. I'm like, all right, we got 10K. Let's see.
I was like, yeah, so if we don't get this extra 25, how am I gonna bust down 3K? Yeah, yeah, no, I'll be happy with it. It's cool. I think another point too, like when you're in spaces like that and you see just the kind of talent level that people have, one of the things that kind of hit home for me is like having the moment of viewing history in the making, right? Because you never know who I say kids, but who are any of these people turn out to be, right? And how this moment, affects them going forward, what they learn from it, who they connect with, and whatnot like that. So, just understanding, like, hey, 5 years, 10 years down the line, like, oh, that's them, and we saw them in Miami, and now they're boom, you know? So it was just me trying to stay present within the moment of just like, I could lose to one of these people, but one of these people could go on to be like the next whatever within the industry. And then just trying to, I guess, hold that moment or cherish that moment, you know? So,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, in my experience, like pitch competitions are they're kind of funny because they pit you all against each other, right? It's like for one, like outside of the competition, right? Like we're all friends, like we can collaborate, we can be business partners, right? So it's not a true like Shark Tank. Um, but the interesting thing is like I've seen plenty of pitch competitions where the winning team isn't necessarily the one that goes on to create the most successful business, right? Just because you won a competition does not mean you'll win in the market. So it's like your customers are the people that truly matter at the end of the day. So it's like you can win on stage, give a great pitch, but can you actually sell your product, right? Can you actually build a business um, that lasts over time? So um, that's my piece of advice for everybody. Is also is just like um, sometimes losing can teach you more than winning ever can, and also sometimes those losses, a lot of times those losses are going to just be what you needed. Is like that you needed that fuel on the fire. You know what I mean? To be like no, I'm not a loser, right? I have something dope and I can create this thing. People already see value in it, so I need to keep going. And part of that is why I got emotional on stage because it was just
yeah.
like man, like this entrepreneurship thing is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like this ain't the first pitch competition I've ever done,
Yeah.
you know. But it was just like it was a very emotional moment because literally BVP started on Howard campus, like
Yeah.
at orientation, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, meeting everybody and just talking about what we want to do in this life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like that was a pitch, right? Like that was an initial pitch to just a group of people. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay, now can you execute? And
Yeah.
we've been executing since what was that, 2021, fall
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
It feels like it was just I want to say last year, but it wasn't last year.
Yeah. No, that's the trippy part because one, we have well classmates that are graduating now that were at that orientation. They're already done with school.
Mhm.
Like Alex is about to be. And then it's also understanding like in case anybody didn't know, that was our what, third time all together in person?
Yeah.
After like 2 years of trying to like figure all this stuff
Yep.
out. So I was actually thinking about that moment the other day. I was like, my dog Gary like started crying on stage. Yeah, like that was
Yes, sir.
it was a
Yes, sir.
dope moment. And I
It
was like, yeah,
was.
it was
I knew it
see
was going to happen too. Like when we were sitting back there, I'm like, if we win, I'm
yeah.
crying. I just knew it.
The reason why it was so dope is not just like how we all came together, how we've, just been chatting and how it all started, but just it's all that, but it's also being able to show passion for what you care for and how much it means to you. And then also there's another layer of just like, hey, black man showing emotion and being able to cry in public, and everybody's like, yeah, bro. Cry real quick.
Mhm.
Take your time.
For
Come
sure.
back whenever you ready. Like it was all just if there was wholesome is what it
Yeah,
was. Just a whole lot of wholesome. And it's
truly.
just good. Just real good shit.
For sure. For
Oh
sure.
man.
That was great. Um, yeah, and it's like what I was like trying to say. I guess I did say it, but it's like vision is a really powerful thing.
Mm,
Like you got to believe, like when you really believe something can happen, like you really can take something out of your head and make it real,
mm,
right? And then other people see value in that thing. It's like it's an overwhelming event when it comes to fruition because it's like this was in my head. Like I knew we could do this, right? I knew we could get this far. I knew we could inspire other people,
yeah,
but just to have it all like thrown at you at once, you know what I
yeah,
mean? You up on a big stage and people calling
yeah.
you a winner. You got a big check in front of you. It's like, bruh, It was all a dream, like for real.
Hey.
Like it's crazy, it's crazy, but a beautiful thing. And I appreciate you both.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess we've said it already, but we won.
I
Uh,
don't know if we said it, but yeah, we won 35,000. I don't know if
won the
anybody saw
35,000
that post.
in a unanimous decision by the judges. A unanimous decision. It was funny because there was a brief it's almost like a Steve Harvey moment. That was
Oh,
funny.
ooh,
It was funny. It was funny and not funny because it was like if we didn't win, then it wouldn't have been funny. I
yeah.
think it would not have been funny. We wouldn't be laughing right now. But
It's funny to think like this moment right here could be so different. Like,
for sure,
hey, y'all, we went out, we went to the K. It was really cool. Got to kick it with the bro. I was like, nah,
yeah,
man. Came back a big 35000,
yeah.
dog.
Yeah. And just to
Oh,
further illustrate the pictures, like we were walking through Miami and I had cowboy boots on. We all had cowboy hats on, like matching outfits, BVP spirits on the t-shirts, black jeans,
yeah,
like doing the whole thing. And
uh,
you know what I mean? Just doing it unapologetically.
yeah,
And we won when we walked in the door. It was like,
real talk.
you know what I mean? Like we went all in, went all out,
Yeah,
had samples for the judges, prepared, had the slides printed for the judges as well. That came in clutch because they couldn't even see
yeah,
the TV,
yeah.
and it just all came together. It all
Mhm.
came together.
Yeah. I think it was a reminder to actively stand out,
Mhm.
right? And I think that was one of the things for us because everybody else was in nice, solid business suit, dress, business casual, like you've been told since you heard anything about professionalism. And then three black dudes with hats and boots
And
and
matching
all black
t-shirts.
jeans come on, like, yo, who? Who is this and where are y'all going?
Right. Where are
Where's
y'all going?
Miami,
Where are
bro?
y'all from?
Yeah, like it's 85 degrees outside and humid, and y'all
Mhm.
out here wearing all with some big old hats on.
Mhm.
Oh man,
It's a
yeah,
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I think I may have a picture to share.
oh, yeah, drop that.
Make sure we pull this up for the people to see.
I was about to say we need a bigger one, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's us on the stage with the whole crew, all of the judges. Shout out to the judges. Um, by the
Fantastic.
way, like, I mean, now we legit like can turn this product into something real.
Hmm.
And the same things that we were just talking about in the pitch about like building relationships with distribution partners and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yo, we have that because of this pitch competition.
Yeah,
So we're actively working towards making the product a reality. We already have half of the product, which is our coffee,
yeah,
which we currently sell. You can scan that QR code or visit bvp.coffee to support. The next phase of the business is using this check to actually purchase an air roasting machine to roast our beans in house. And then we need additional capital to actually purchase a cold brew machine to serve our coffee. And then we'll be working to partner with Black owned spirits brands, particularly whiskey brands that pair nicely with our premium coffee. So our cold brew cocktail is in the works, but we need your help. We need to
yeah.
raise some money. And we're not just going to ask for donations. We will deliver you a premium
Hey,
quality product. We have premium coffee for sale. And every sale of coffee helps us raise the money we need to invest in our equipment, invest in our beverage development. But then also, don't forget, we donate $1 from every bag sold to HBCU scholarships.
there you go.
Yes,
There you
sir.
go. There you go. Well, everybody is hopefully buying coffee right now. I'd like to do a shameless plug
Please.
to the spirits within Pronghorn's portfolio. During the celebratory phase of our travel, had some of the 10 to 1 rum
Mm.
and also the Island John vodka. Those are solid, and I will leave it at that.
Sounds like you had a good night, my brother.
Those are two very quality spirits, and I will leave it at that. Oh man, good time, good time,
For
good
sure.
time, good time.
Yeah, that was a dope thing too. Just at the event, um, the brands were on display and being served at the bar. So, you could really just see how Pronghorn really takes pride in its brands and its investments. Um, to be honest, I would say like, BVP is similar to Pronghorn. Like I think we're on a similar trajectory.
Mhm,
Um, Absolutely now part of the Pronghorn family.
mhm,
Um, Hopefully one day we can get an investment in our own spirits brand. But the beauty of all of this for me is like we all learn from each other,
mhm,
and then we learn about these different models that work, and then you can remix and remodel it. To blaze your own trail as well, right? So Pronghorn has its own path and trajectory. BVP has its own path and trajectory. So it's like we're early in the game,
yeah,
right? But I know we have the foresight and capacity and knowledge to be able to execute at the same level. So it's just the beginning,
yeah,
but we got more good stuff on the way. So
yeah,
um, to anybody who will be in the DC area, graduation is next week.
mm,
So please pull up. Sir Jeffrey here will definitely have a gown. I don't know if he has a
mm.
cap yet. It may still be in need of a cap.
something like that. But yeah, I'll be wearing my Juris Doctorate gown to both graduations. So
Mm,
when you see me, you'll see the royal purple and navy on both
mm.
heads.
Say
So
it again.
royal purple and navy.
Yes, sir.
JD MBA on the way.
Mm,
It's a beautiful thing to see.
mhm,
Beautiful thing to see. So, you know, this is a demo of our product. It's on the way. But for everybody who's watching, just know we are working hard. This pitch competition is something that is going to be a game changer for our business.
mhm. Or
For
is. Let's get it. Yeah.
already is, and just to be able to have that like badge of honor, like check aside, right? Like just even after like posting the picture, like people recognize what Pronghorn is,
Yeah.
right? And it's like people are looking at us like, yo, y'all are in with Pronghorn. Like you got the stamp of approval from Pronghorn. Like y'all know what you're doing then, right?
Hey, people want to talk now.
Now people want to
People
talk.
saw that check like, hey, what y'all doing over
Hmm. Hmm.
there?
Hmm. We working. So
Oh man.
working hard. Yeah, gonna have a lot of great updates in the next couple of weeks.
Mm.
But at least wanted to hop on here and let the people know, let the community know
Yes,
that
sir.
we wouldn't be here without you,
Mm,
because part of what set us apart was the traction that we already have.
mhm,
So thank you to everybody who's already purchased coffee from us, who follows us on Instagram. Like all of that adds credibility,
mhm,
and it just proves that we're able to deliver a quality product. We're able to build a community around our mission.
mm.
And again, it's early. We're just getting started, but we are going to achieve more great things together. Any parting words you brothers would like to add?
Ooh,
All right. So I think I know that this was a great opportunity for us, again, like I said earlier, to showcase our synergy as a team And, our motto as a team is, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. And oftentimes, all of us are multi hyphenates. There's another word for that, but it escapes me at the moment. And that was the first time where we really sat down in the same space and are like, all right, so ideating is Gary. I'm the numbers, right? B is the pitch person. He's the energy. And we all were able to kind of like, because it wasn't just the presentation, it was also our presence in the room, right? It was also how we interacted with people and how we, interacted with the judges and the founder and things like that, that really came out and showed like, oh yeah, like we're really a team. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see that we're developing that, even though this is our third time meeting. And
Yeah,
it's my word.
Powerful
that
words.
was dope. And Gary, I want to thank you a lot a bit for helping bring all this together. But also one of the cool things I gleaned from Gary is like, bro, we're not just here as gentlemen to like pitch them idea, right? Like we're here as actual business too, right? So there's people outside that we can network with. Like he's over there thinking like, nah, dog, like you a founder, right? You a CEO, I'm a CEO. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
let's go out there and do CEO stuff, not just like, hey, out here just trying to do it just for a check, right? Like let's
Mhm.
actually do it out here to make connections to help further the business. So not necessarily like just staying in your role, but being able to present yourself bigger than not necessarily than what you are, but like as big as you are.
Mhm.
Right. And I think sometimes people get in that position, they kind of shrink to
Mhm.
be like, okay, well, I'm just only here to submit my idea and I hope they like it. No, like you got your own thing. Like even if Pronghorn said no, like bro, we still about to go do what we about to do.
Yep.
And another point that I want to make sure, and I'll post about it probably tomorrow or if not later today on LinkedIn, just one of the things that I want to make sure that us as well as Pronghorn and even the other teams and Pronghorn gave us the opportunity to do that is that everybody in that room needs to win, right? And I say that just from us as Black people within the space that we are and the spaces that we occupy. Like we need to win to show other people that they need to win too, right? And I don't think any of us is happy where like us Black people as a whole are, right? I think there's still levels that we need to go to and places and things we got to heal and fix and do better in. So we got a long way to go and some more work to do, but yeah, like this is a start, right? And
Yes,
everybody
sir.
kept on asking like, "Hey, what are y'all gonna do with the check?" I'm like, "Yeah, the check is nice, but we just got to get back to work, bro. Like, we gonna celebrate tonight and tomorrow possibly, but we we got we still got a mission to do. We still got hey, new planes to break in, as Ho
Yes,
was
sir.
saying, you know.
Yes, sir.
So we're doing that, and it's a beauty to be along for the ride. So
Yes, sir.
got
Yes,
new
sir.
frontiers
That's it.
go breaking.
Glad you could get that one off.
You gotta
Appreciate you. I appreciate each of you. I thank you both. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We're gonna keep going, and shout out to the community. Shout out to the herd again, who helped get us here. To everybody who's watching, we need your help. Please give us a follow. Of course, at Bison VP is our main account. BVP Coffee Co is where you can get our coffee. If you scan that QR code or visit www.bvp.coffee, you can shop all of our premium coffee. It's specialty grade from all around the world. We've got whole beans and ground coffee. Again, for every bag that we sell, we donate $1 to HBCU scholarships. And when you shop with us, you are allowing us to grow our business and achieve the greater vision that we have for our community. So I want to thank you all again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to Around the Herd with Bison Venture Partners. We will see y'all again this time next week. Have a good night, y'all.